So home blood pressure machines are not just for old people like me. Really, it's a good idea to check up on your blood pressure once a month, no matter what age you are. In fact, I mean, high blood pressure is the silent killer. It sits there, and you don't have any you don't have any way of knowing that your blood pressure is high, but it's sitting there thickening your artery walls and raising your risk of stroke. So it's like it's a long-term thing, like smoking. Every year you sit there with high blood pressure is a year that you've raised your chance of getting a stroke later in life. So it's good to check it, know it when you go in and see your doctor, be able to tell them what it's been. And with this Antrolife blood pressure monitor, I'm going to see how easy it is to do at home, how to keep track of your readings, and how accurate it is. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Okay, we don't really expect any surprises in here. Normally a home blood pressure machine is going to have a wraparound cuff and a main unit. So let's see if that is as expected. So this is what I would call the main unit. Comes with a sticker on the front telling you a lot of stuff. We get a USB-C cable, a certain amount of documentation here. U1, an arm blood pressure monitor. I don't know what that means. We'll have to see. That's probably some special offer, and it doesn't really apply to how well this guy works or anything, so we're probably going to ignore that. The actual cup itself, I'm going to have to unwrap that. And a nifty tote sack to carry the whole thing. So that's the contents. Let's put it together and take some blood pressure measurements, shall we? Okay, so this guy has a USB cable, so I can run it with USB and no batteries. So I've got no batteries in here right now. It's empty. And I can plug my USB-C cable in the side, and you can see the lights come on and goes up. So one of the first things you have to do when you use this guy is you need to set the time and date so that you have a timestamp on all your measurements, and you pick a user. So I'm just going to hold the set button down for 3 seconds. It starts blinking. Now I'm set on user 1. I'm going to leave it there. If I wanted to go to user 2, I could put the men button, but I'll leave it there. Okay. Now date 2021. It is not 2021. It's 2022. It is not January 1st. Let's go down to the date I'm writing this, September 9th, or September 19th, rather. And the time is 3:06, and we do not have an AM/PM indicator, so I have to go to 15:06. A small price to pay, but no big deal. Speaker off. I'm going to turn speaker on. This means that the device will read out things to me. And then finally, this is not documented, but PA off. This will also operate in kilopascals, or maybe just pascals. This is not a measurement unit used for blood pressure in the United States. We use milligrams of mercury, or millimeters of mercury. So I'm going to leave this off. And that's it. So my guy's now ready to use. I'm going to show you something, how they just give you an idea of what the voice sounds like.
Your blood pressure is systolic 134 millimeter of mercury, diastolic 82 millimeter of mercury. Your pulse was 56.
So we've got a pretty pretty strong accent on there, and that's kind of weird for if you're selling it in the American market, because I mean it's understandable, but still it would have been good to get a native speaker to do those recordings. Another thing I see here that I don't like is if you look at that. I see a reading number, 1, 2, 3, but I don't get any indication of when of the time and date on that guy. I've got a support call in for that, but I don't think they do it. I think they just show you a number, 1, 2, 3. So that's kind of a bummer. I'm going to show you the worst thing of all. I take my USB-C cable out because I'm not using this thing. I put it in the box. So then you come back a few minutes later, or the next day, plug it in, power comes on. Let's see, go to the settings. Oh, I'm back to 2021. So even though you don't need batteries to operate this thing, you're going to need batteries in it, because otherwise it's going to forget the date and time every time you use it, and that's kind of a bummer. Also, as far as I can tell, the only way to change the user, so if you're a husband and wife using this and you want to switch over to the other person, the only way to change the user is to hold the settings button down, do that, and then stop, and that remembers who the user is. So that's kind of a bummer. Okay, so we're going to put this guy through its paces, see what we get after we take a couple readings. Or I think I'll take 3 readings and take the middle one. And then I'm going to compare it to a known good blood pressure monitor from a big name brand and see how it works. First off, you'll notice that I'm sitting quietly, and I've got my arm propped up at the level of my heart. And this is important to get a good blood pressure reading, is doing those things. You should be sitting still, not talking, not eating. And
your blood pressure is systolic 120 millimeter of mercury, diastolic 74 millimeter of mercury. Your pulse was 55.
Okay, so the last 3 readings on this unit were 119/74, 120 over 74, 120 over 74. So very consistent. We like seeing that it's reading the same thing time after time. I'm going to compare it against another unit to see if they agreed, to see if we have an idea that this accuracy of this one is similar to the other one. But so far, so good. Okay, just checking against another unit for accuracy. I'm not comparing these two. My two readings on this one were 124 over 76 and 118 over 76. So the two units are in substantial agreement. There's just a less than a couple percent difference, and it's hard to check that up. Two consecutive readings are going to be off like that, so I'm averaging them out and saying that they're almost identical. So it passes that test. Okay, so this device is not a 5-star device, and I'm going to tell you why. So it's got a very nice display. We have audio readout results. The large cup is big enough for anyone, and it comes with a nice tote sack. But it's got too many little things wrong with it that to keep me from calling it a 5-star. The fact that it forgets date and time. If you don't have batteries in it, since it's got a USB port that can run off USB, that makes it pretty much useless. Changing users requires that you enter setup mode. There should just be a single button to switch before 1 and 2. When you're recalling your previously saved readings, it doesn't show you the date and time. That's bad. Limited to 2 users. Is there any reason it has to be just 2 users? It's just software, right? And then finally, it's got this green, yellow, red values, which show you whether your blood pressure is out of range, and they don't adjust to the age of the user. And you talk to your doctor, and for you to be considered into high blood pressure changes as you go through the decades. So if you're a really old person, if you're 70 years old and you have a 135 or 140 top number, it's not the same thing as if you're 18 and have that same number. So these things keep this from being a 5-star product, and it's a shame because otherwise it's pretty good. But if you buy it, you'll be able to use it. You'll get accurate readings. So it's not like it's a don't buy recommendation. It's just that there's some other ones that do better. My family and I work really hard on these reviews, and we have a lot of fun. We get to test a lot of new products, see what they do, evaluate them, try them out. Not every review is a 5-star review. In fact, I would say at least half of the reviews I give are less than 5 stars. I try to be really honest and evaluate them so that you can make good decisions. And I tell you what I feel they rate. So if you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel, buy the product through the affiliate link, and help support me. I appreciate it.